Hi all, today we will talk about alias IP ranges in the Google Cloud and we will see how we can create these IP ranges. So basically Google Cloud alias IP ranges let us assign IP ranges of internal IP address as alias to virtual machines network interface. Suppose you want to assign multiple IP address to a single network interface. Suppose you have NIC 0 and you want to assign multiple IP address for your VM, so you can use alias IP ranges. So basically, it will use like if you are using containers, so you want to assign each container different IP address, or you are running multiple web servers and you want that each web server will be available on different IP address. So we can use this alias IP ranges, and like it is as I told you, it is used for multiple services like running on a VM, and we can assign each service a different IP address, and even we can use with GKA pods also. Basically, pods is also running the containers inside it, and we can allocate alias IP ranges from the primary range. So if you have a primary like a subnet in that you have a primary range, so from that primary range you can assign alias IP range, or if you want you can add a secondary range also to the subnet, and then you can allocate alias IP ranges from the secondary range. So if you want to use secondary, just go and your VPC subnet and just create a secondary range, and then you have option if you want to use all the full IP range, or you want a specific IP from that alias that range, like from secondary or from primary to your alias IP ranges. And using alias IP like this, we can configure multiple internal IP address representing like containers or application hosted in a VM without having a define a separate network interface. So you wanted in a single VPC, you want multiple IPs in your VM, and in with which is in a same network interface, so you can use this. So like if you want multiple network interface, so that means you use it using different VPCs. But here what we are using, we are using a single VPC, but it has multiple IP ranges, IP range, or we can say IP address. So suppose this is our subnet. First of all, you have a primary range and this is your secondary IP range, and this is your VM which is running. So we have taken the primary internal address from this range, primary range, and we have taken a alias IP range, like IP range, or we can say address from this. So suppose it is /20, so we have taken a /24 uh, range from this contain or from this IP range. So like, or you can take a single IP also if you want. Even you can take IP from this range also. It depends how you want to create your infrastructure. So basically, like Google recommends to take from secondary IP range only, because you want to maintain or separate in like your primary IP address range with and secondary IP address range. And there are some key benefits like whenever you use alias IP ranges, Google Cloud automatically installs like VPC network routes for primary and alias IP ranges for the subnet, only for the premise network interface. So if you are using NIC 0, then only Google Cloud will install all the routes. But if you are using NIC 1, NIC 2, as you know, we can add up to total eight network interfaces. For that, you have to do the routing manually. So if you are using only one NIC 0, then it will work without an issue. We will see how we can do that. And in the benefit, we have like container IP address can be allocated by Google Cloud, and validation process in Google Cloud ensure like the container pod IP address do not conflict with VM IP address. It will take all that things, and we can even announce our alias IP ranges to cloud router. So can our on-premises can also be reached to it using via VPN or interconnect. And as I've told you, like the advantages of allocating alias IP ranges from a secondary CIDR range, so that we can create a separate range used for primary IP address and separate infra for services like containers or VM. So these are the main things which you have to follow, and this is the main thing. And let's go to our console and see how we can create alias IP ranges. My console as of now, I have a one VM which is running. So basically, before creating a alias IP range, let's go to VPC network. So I will go to my default network. So let me create a alias IP range. So for that you have to go to subnets, and you can choose any VM, well sorry, any subnet which in which you want to create. So I have already created for like US Central one. You can see this is showing some range, and this is secondary IP ranges. So you have the option whether you want to use secondary IP range or you just want to go with primary. So now let me create in any other region. so that we can test this. So I will go with South Asia South one. So let's go inside this and I will click on edit subnet. So after that, there is an option to uh, add secondary IP range. So I will click here and I will provide, like, I will say secondary range. We can name it anything and I will like provide 192.168.33.0/24. You can add multiple IP ranges, as you know, in this secondary IP ranges. If you don't know, you can check out my previous videos on the VPC. So I will go with single only as of now, and after that I will just click on save. So what I'm doing, just I'm adding a secondary IP range to the to my subnet, nothing much. There is no function of alias as of now until we create a VM. Just we have the option to add a subnet here, like a secondary range here. So let me click on create instance. So let's see how we can use alias IP in this. So let me give a name like alias VM, and after that I will choose a region. So my like a subnet is in Mumbai region, so I will go that I will choose any zone and directly go to networking. Under networking I have the options. So if I go here, I have the option of alias IP ranges. So let me click on add. I have two options, whether I can choose primary range and secondary range. I can choose both also. Let's first of all add primary range. From primary range I want a single IP. Suppose I want 10.160.0. Like say 32/32. So I want a single IP from this range, and then I will add a click IP range, and this time I will choose secondary. In secondary I need a full range. I don't want a single IP or anything. I need full range from it. Even you can like do subnetting also, like from this range you want like very small part, you can do subnetting. If there are multiple converter available online, you can use that. Just then it is fine. Just we need both of these alias IP ranges. We have a single IP and we have a range. Just click on done and we will create our VM, and after that we will see how we can, what are the options we have. VM has been created. Now let's go inside the VM and let's see what are the options we have. So let's come down and inside our networking. So here it is. So we can see like we have this range, alias IP range is this and this. So let's try to ping this from my first VM which I've already created, and let's see ping and see what it gives response. We can see I can ping this IP address, and let's go and let's ping this also. So this is a full range. So what will happen? I can ping any IP from this range. So let's start with one. I can get ping, and if I go with 254, as we know 256 total IPs they have 0 to 225. So let's ping 254. I can get a response. I can even ping any IP, like let's go with 23. So we can see there is a response from every IP from this range. Now if you want, you can host your application on each IP and you can reach out that application from each IP. Like you can install Docker here, or you can use with JK like Google Kubernetes Engine, and each pod can use IP. So what we can do, let's SSH into it, and I will install Docker in it, and I will just run some web server containers on different IP, and let's see what are the options we have, and whether it will give a response or not. So I have installed a Docker. Let's see Docker PS whether it is properly installed or not. So I can see Docker it is installed. So let me, what we can do now, so this is that IP address. So first of all I will use this IP address. So I have a command, I will just paste it and I will update the IP address from this. So I am running my Nginx server and I am using this IP address. Let me run this, and I want to send traffic on port 81, and it forwards traffic to port 80 on the Nginx server. And let me give name is my container and just click on run. So it will just download the uh, Docker image. So you can check out Docker. It is very easy. Just check out the commands. If you don't know, I am just hyphen default. So it will run in background. This is name, this is port, and all that. So this has been done. So if I do Docker PS, I can see I have a Docker running on here, and this is the IP. So on the port 81. Now if I just copy this IP and go to my first VM, which is here, this VM, and if I try to curl this on port 81, I will get a response. So see, I can getting a response from Nginx, and if I do on port 80, I will get no response because I have configured my port on port 81. 82 will not work, and even if I do 81, it will give a response. So now we can confirm like alias is working fine. We can check with this IP range also. If we do curl for this IP range, it will not work because there is nothing running on behind this IP address. So if I do any IP, it will not give a response. We can say fooled. Now let's do one thing. Just run one more container behind this IP address 33.1. So let's go here. Just run the same command again. This time let's change the port to 85 and just put our command IP address and just update the container name because container must have different name every time. And this is run docker ps. We can see that is running on this. Let's go back. Here we are back. Just give a port 81. Let's type on 81. It will not work. Basically, we have used 85, so we can get a response on 85. Like this, I can configure like 255 ports like containers, and with the help of this, I can reach out my all the IP. Even this work with VPC pairing also, you don't have to configure anything. If you have VPC pairing, you can just reach out with your alias IP from different VPCs. And this is a very helpful if you want to run containers over your or you want to run multiple web servers. Like I have a Nginx web servers and I know each is hosting different application behind it. I can run that also, but involves like some networking also. Maybe your networking guy must be there, maybe Linux networking, so that maybe some routes he may need to configure for like if it reach different web servers. And for your container also, maybe there are different commands. Like for Docker, you can check it out with your person, or if you know how to do Docker, you can figure it out. Now it is not much tough also. So like this, we can do multiple things with our alias IP. This is very helpful feature with Google. If you want to run GKE also and want to provide IP address, you can use this. And this is all from this uh, video. If you have any question, suggestion, just ping it out, or any topic you want to me to cover, just comment it down. I will try to cover in future. Thank you very much.